All right. Check. Check.
Check.
All right. Sterger's coming in. Jenn Sterger's coming in second.
What a horrible person that Jenn Sterger.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. People are going to like seeing it. Stupid fly. I will say, before we start, you have been seeming very very happy these days.
Yeah. I've got more energy. I mean, I'm almost 50, dude.
Yeah.
I'm getting low energy, and the coffee just isn't doing it for me. And you gave me that magic mind. I'm killing it with it.
I know, because you told me how much you and your wife loved it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wanted it for myself, and I'm like, well, go ahead and try a couple. And then I turn around, and she's been taking it every day, and I've been taking it every day, and it's gone, and I've had to get a subscription for it.
What is it?
It's like it's a clean energy. It's not like a coffee. It doesn't give you the jitters and things like that. Adaptogens. And it's just a tiny little bottle like this. It's not in a big drink you have to mix up or anything. It's just a tiny little bottle. Take the shot, and it's.
I gotta be honest. I thought you were gonna bring one.
Yeah, we kind of drank them all.
So I did say when they came in here, when they sent it, I was like, make sure you bring one, because we're gonna have to.
Yeah, that was kind of a thing. I didn't read the fine print on that.
So you just drank it all.
Yeah.
How fast?
Believe me,
it's gone.
I had them in my possession, drank them. Didn't think.
And now your wife wants more.
Yeah. So when they come in, I can bring a bottle in if you need me to do a shot or something.
Didn't you think about that? Maybe they should have.
No, I just wanted the energy. I mean, it's part of my morning routine before I get here. So
you love it.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, Magic Mind. They can find it in the description.
Yes, find it in the description.
In the description.
In the description.
In the description. All right, Magic Mind.
Click the description.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to The Big Thing. This is a fun episode, man. We're going to have a good time here today, even though there's a lot of drama going down with the Aquaman 2. Everybody's talking about Aquaman 2, and they're wondering what's happening. They didn't show a trailer for so long, and it's finally coming out in like December, but there had to be some shit, right? Oh, yeah. Big report. There's a lot of stuff that went down to no one's surprise, and we'll kind of dive into that. What does it mean for the DCEU or DCU now? And speaking of the DCEU, it's now confirmed, because people were like, oh, it's got to be a full reboot, right? And everybody was being cast. Gal Gadot at one point, she's coming back. And then Ben Affleck might be showing up, and is Ezra Miller going to return? Now, the new report is that none of them are coming back. So is that true? Is that false? I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's too confusing. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about it. Speaking of some other comic book stuff, Loki, crushed for Disney+. Crushed. Ratings were out of control. So we'll discuss that and more. We're going to get into some stand-up stuff and other things. But I want to know, how the hell did Jenn Sterger get such good Taylor Swift tickets? I got to figure that out. That and more on today's Big Thing show. So let's get into it. It's The Big Thing. It's myself. It's Brett Sheridan. And Jenn Sterger's in the house. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Big Thing with me, Kristian Harloff. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on everywhere podcasts are found. I got this lunatic with me. He's been back a couple different times. We've got to fix his stupid camera.
I'll just do this little number like this.
Much better. Much better.
Is that good?
Much
We're
better.
coming to K90X15, future rock and roll.
Perfect. Do you see what you signed up for, Jenn Sterger?
What did I sign up for? Oh, I forgot how much I missed this.
It's nice
I really
to have
did.
you. We've been talking about having you on one of these shows forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
I know. And I would like to say it's a scheduling thing, but I'm not doing. Am I allowed to cuss on the show?
Yeah.
I'm not doing shit, so I don't know what the scheduling issue was.
Well, you're doing something. You got some. One of the main reasons we obviously wanted Jenn in. She wanted to come in and hang out, but she got some stuff going down, man. What do you got going on tonight?
Oh, I'm going to be time traveling. I'm going to New York right after the show.
Wow.
Teleporting.
Yes, teleporting. Yes. I'm going to be doing shows with Ellis this weekend in New York City. But that's honestly what I've been spending all my time doing is not just stand-up, but like mentoring other women in stand-up.
I love that.
Because I love being able to help other women tell their stories.
Yeah.
And so I've been helping some women write their hours, like big women write their hours and things like that. And then just helping...
They don't prefer big women. They prefer big bone.
Yeah, big bone.
You
God,
dicks.
man.
I meant like big names.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like I'm very honored that so many women trust me with their stories, and I think it's because they've seen what I've been able to use stand up in terms of curing my own life.
And she's giving them workout regimens and helps them with their
No, that's just limited to like friends that want to come to the gym and work out.
I want to come to the gym and work out.
No, you should.
You want the Stacey Howard Buns of Steel program?
Yeah, I want to be in that program. Yeah,
100%.
He will play a game called Old Creepy Guy trying to pinch tushies. Run!
I hate it here.
What is that gym? You're like working out in a gymnasium, like in a giant dance studio.
Oh no, that's just like the big room that you do like little like ab exercises. It's strictly
that's
for
your
photos,
photo
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone hates us at that point. But like we've already done all the hard work at the gym. Like we're not just going there to take pictures. Like I will torture. Like it's usually me, Barney, or me, Barney, and Stacy. Like any combination of the three of us. And they're brutal. Shannon is an absolute beast in the gym.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Like they miscast She-Hulk. It should have been Shannon. She'll like put on extra 45-pound plates, and I'm like, what are you doing?
You can see she's. I mean, look at just what she did for people who don't know. We were talking about Shannon Barney, who was a big part of the movie Trivia Schmodown that we ran, and so was Jen, obviously, for a long time. And Shannon just had that energy about her. She just, when she commits to something, it's 100%, whether it's Schmodown.
And that wasn't scripted. None of what Shannon ever said was scripted. She was just ready to.
Well, she had bullet points.
She had bullet points, but like that she would check with you.
The way wrestling should be.
Exactly. There aren't actual scripts, but she was just so charismatic, you know?
Yeah.
And man, she loved being bad. I think it's because she's such a nice person in general that like when you were like, go for it, she was like, don't have to tell me twice.
She was pissed when I turned her face. She was pissed. Anyway, so there's a lot of different things going on. So Jen's going to be at the New York Comedy Club with Mark Ellis, Ken Knapsack, a bunch of people tonight and tomorrow. Then you have a show on Saturday?
Yeah, I have another show on Saturday.
Where's that?
That one's at the Stand. Okay. Yeah, at the Stand.
Where can they get tickets if they want to go?
Oh, you can check my Instagram. We're markellis.live.
Yeah, that's probably a good place to get it. Yeah.
That's the place.
That's the place to get the tickets. Yeah.
Mark's at website's the only one I know better than mine.
.live. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
.live.
Yeah, it's true. So, well, good. You guys should go and check Jen out. And I'm not saying this because she's sitting next to me. Jen is very, very funny. Like I remember I'll be honest with you just because I can. I didn't know what to expect the first time I saw you on stage. I was like, okay.
Same.
I knew you could talk. I knew you had like, you know, a very good energy about you, but I was like, everybody thinks they're funny. Everybody when they're doing stand-up thinks they're funny.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's the worst. And so I think it was the New York Comedy Club, and I remember going, okay.
And that was my old set too. The first time I think you saw me was my old set. And I feel like now, post-pandemic and post-divorce, I think I'm really coming into like a more authentic version of myself.
Yeah.
And so I really feel like my voice is becoming even stronger on stage. And honestly, like the biggest thing with stand-up is just not worrying about being liked.
I was just going to say, giving no Fs.
Exactly.
Giving no Fs.
That's why I never do it. It's like, oh, it's torture.
You got big choose me energy.
Yeah,
as we call it.
It's a bit,
You're full of shit though, because every time you do it, you get all anxious before you do it, and then it's
a nightmare.
Then you want to do it the next day.
Yeah, but then I give it a couple days, and I'm like, nah,
done with it. Yeah,
too old for this shit.
Well, Brett's actually going to be going up again.
That's right.
Yeah, we're announcing a show in December.
Fun.
It's either December 2nd or 3rd, whatever that Saturday is. We're going to be at Flappers.
Oh,
we're going to be
fun.
doing a show. So
I love that room.
it's great.
It is great.
It's great. So we'll be doing. We haven't put anything on sale yet, but Jen's tickets are on sale, and you should go and check them out. You mentioned you don't have to go too deep into it, but are you pretty good move? Do you feel the divorce? You're feeling good. You're feeling happy.
I don't think anyone that's ever filed for divorce is later like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. You mean divorce in general?
Yeah, divorce
Okay,
in
right.
general. Anyone that's ever filed for divorce, I think that they come out on the other side. It's honestly one of the most painful experiences you can go through because it's like a death, but the person's still alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, but I just think that we got to a place where we weren't the same people we were when we got married, honestly, or when we started dating. We just weren't the same people anymore. And I felt myself playing small. And I was like, I am not happy. Yeah. I'm not happy being something that I'm not. And I think one of the few places I was truly allowed to be myself was at the Schmodown.
Oh, wow.
And so the real wake-up call for me was when we went to a wedding and people were like, you're not acting like yourself. What's going on?
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
and I won't like throw the people that's wedding.
Sure.
Yeah. But it was that wedding that everybody from Schmodown was like, "Are you okay?"
Oh, and then did you like a light bulb kind of went off in your head?
And I was like, "Oh, I'm a different person when I'm around him versus when I'm around my people."
Got it.
And I felt very shut off from my people. And now, like I said, my business is thriving. My stand-up is thriving. I'm thriving, and I wish him nothing but the best. But this was the best move for everybody.
Great. And I'm happy to hear that. Well, good. Well, I'll tell you something else that's pretty fun. You remember the Flirt and Flouse, right?
Yes.
Well, so what we've decided
that's when her whole marriage went downhill.
Honestly,
the Flirt and Flouse.
Listen, I would be lying if I said there were not fights about it.
Is that true? Yes. You had fights about the Flirt and Flouse?
Am I explaining wrestling to someone?
Yeah.
Who knows wrestling?
Yes. Who actually understands wrestling. That was when I was like, are you high?
I'm flattered. I'm not.
So people who are confused
I'm
what
the
we're talking
least threatening man on the planet.
Well, so what we did for people who are colored, what the hell are they talking about? In the last season of the Schmodown, Brett
there were so many big plans.
Yeah, Brett played a character named the Flirt and Flouse, who was this really obnoxious German pop superstar who was a ladies' man. And him and Jenn started to develop a relationship throughout the storylines. And it was going to go to a place where it was going to go House of Gucci style, where Jenn was going to basically take over his faction, and we were going. The last shot of the spectacular was supposed to be the Flirt and Flouse, all out of his money, living on the streets, and Jenn in the robe, in the garb, taking over the faction. It was supposed to be a big thing, but it just never happened, obviously. But so that's where that comes. The reason I bring up the Flirt and Flouse is we're making a big push on Patreon on Big Thing now, and we're doing like so. Winston, who is not a fan of scary things, so I said to him, I was like, hey, listen, for like, what would it take for you, money wise and everything else too, to do Halloween Horror Nights? And it's
come on, man.
That's not scary for you,
it's
right?
It's not scary for me.
For you, but for him, he punched a guy at Knott's Berry Farm and got
to be fair,
and got banned.
Knott's Berry Farm is Knott's Scary Farm is terrifying. I think because they're more lawless. Universal has rules. Universal has very strong rules about like not touching characters, them not touching you.
Right.
But I don't know if you remember this. When we were growing up, I think I was like 8 when my dad took me to Halloween Horror Nights for the first time.
In
I have a core memory of a woman dressed as Bloody Mary touching the side of my face. Because they could touch you back then. You know what I mean? And
that must have been terrifying for you.
Oh, yeah. But the thing was, my parents pitched it to me like, this is going to be a blast. And I remember my parents laughing at me the entire time and how terrified I was.
Right. Well, so that's kind of what we're going to be doing Winston. But the thing is, they didn't pay you. So Winston said that if we hit 1,000 patrons, then we'll go. Now, the question is,
how many times do I have to sign up for this picture?
I know. Now, the question is that we're probably, because it runs out by the end of this month, so it'll most likely be in 2024 when he goes, because we're approaching like 400 right now, right? So to get to 1,000
yeah,
at the end
you
of the
have
month,
to at least do the express pass, because otherwise you're not going to get him through enough houses.
Well, I would reach out to Universal. They got us to the whole thing with Makuga. Nice. We did it with Makuga.
I remember that.
Now, the other one, the reason I bring up Flouse, now this is a major one. We have other things. Well, I'll tell you the 1,500 one, which is amazing, and Brett came up with this yesterday. At 1,500 patrons, Brett and I will have to go to a Cory Felman concert and sit in the front row.
I had the best Cory Felman story.
Hold it and tell me. We'll get into our concert conversations about it too. So that's at 1,500. But the major one is 10,000. Brett Sheridan is not a fan of heights. So we don't know if the Flirt and Flouse is, but at 10,000 patrons, the Flirt and Flouse in character will skydive.
And you can ask my wife. That's on the bucket list of things I'd never want to do.
Same.
Yeah,
Someone tried to buy me a skydiving thing for my birthday, and when they didn't tell me what was happening, so I got ready and I got all glammed up thinking I was going to have a birthday day.
Oh, no.
And then they were like, oh, we're going skydiving.
And you're like, no way.
I fell into the fetal position and started crying, and I wouldn't move. And they were like, just kidding, we'll get tacos.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to skydive, but at 10,000, if we hit those patrons, would you go as character as Jessica with him leading up to the skydiving?
Just honestly,
you do not have to skydive. I promise.
As long as I don't have to skydive, I would go just to mess with the people that worked there.
What do you mean?
Like
I
would want us to stay in character, and let them think that was who that was.
That's
like
what
we
I'm
would
saying.
not break character.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Like would you do that?
Oh, 100%.
Yes. Okay. So we're adding a new thing.
I will commit to the bit.
We're gonna get there faster now. I'm getting real nervous.
I will commit to the bit as his like German hot girlfriend that walks around in like club wear.
Yeah, you can do it now because you don't have to get into arguments when you get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would literally dress in like German rave club wear.
Oh my God, this is amazing. All right. So listen. This is a new.
Nah, I didn't think I was gonna do it, but now I'm thinking it's
Now it's on.
Brett, we're
Listen, all you have to do is say there might be boobs involved.
yeah.
Look, we're at four.
Sturgeon just made me nervous.
Guys, let's do this.
We're at 400 right now. 400.
Yeah,
we need
it's a wow.
we need 9,600 right now. So
I believe in you.
yeah. So once again, listen to that. So at 10,000 now, not only will you get Zaflirt and Flouse in character skydiving, you'll have Jessica played by Jenn Sterger there in character Borat style the whole time. This is amazing, and I really hope it happens. All right, let's talk about something. You just mentioned you have a Corey Feldman story.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, so one of the stand-up. Listen, you know, as a comic, there are gigs that we get asked to perform at that are just hell gigs.
Oh, sure.
But you do them for the story. And I got to perform at this Playboy party, at a Halloween Playboy party last year. And it was an awful gig because it was like forcing stand-up on people that were just there to get drunk and be in slutty costumes. Right. And they were like, but we're going to make you guys listen to comedy.
That is not fun.
And so I was on the show with like Orny Adams and a couple other comics. But shit gig, got done with the gig. And
it was actually called shit gig.
No. But got done with the gig. And this guy dressed as Harry Potter came up to me afterwards.
I love this story already.
And was like, you were so good. And I was like,
this is bullshit. He wasn't talking in an English accent?
No.
Bullshit.
I mean, I couldn't really hear. It was really, really loud.
Okay,
but
fine.
but it was Corey Feldman dressed as Harry Potter.
That's great.
But with like a bad wig on. Like he bought it at Party City.
That's kind of what he
like you're a
performs in.
celebrity. Like
Yeah.
I need you to have like the Heidi Klum level of whatever it is.
exactly.
You know what I mean? At least put some effort into it. Like I've seen people at Comic-Con that commit harder than this. But it was such a sad Harry Potter costume.
Oh.
But I just remember leaving there. I think I have a video of it and me walking out and being like, so that was the worst stand-up gig ever. But Corey Feldman told me I was funny. So win-win.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, Corey Feldman is something when he's performing music. So I don't know how it came out. I was talking about the Lost Boys on Monday's show, and I don't know how Brett came up with it.
I just recently saw this video of a concert where they're like, here comes the comeback game. They're trying to get the audience to get him out there, and he's not.
He won't do it.
He gets out, and then he yells at the band for not playing the right note. I was just like, oh, this is beautiful.
So the idea of going, Brett said it though too, and I think it's true. In theory, getting to 1,500 patrons and going to a Corey Feldman concert, in theory, we're like, oh, this is going to be fun. But then you got to sit through song 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to song 1, you're like, yeah, this is hilarious. And then song 2. Well, what if we wind up like becoming like actual fans? I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna have a lot of questions.
As you should.
What are his fans called? We got Swifties for Taylor. Feldmans.
I don't know. Goonies?
Goonies would make way more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Anyway. All right. So let's get into some of this because that's going to be drama all in itself. And before I even talk about the Aquaman drama, I'm going to tell you guys about something fun. Let's talk about a Green Chef. Do you use the Green Chef?
No.
Oh, my God, Jen. Green Chef. Let me tell you a little bit about it, guys. So if you didn't already know, Green Chef, it is the #1 meal kit in general for eating clean. You can feel your best during the busy fall season with delicious, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring clean ingredients with no artificial colors, sweeteners, high fructose corn syrup, and limited added sugar and limited processed ingredients. I love Green Chef. There was like this entire box that they sent me. And when my family was away for like a weekend, I just became like, I was like Gordon Ramsay and I was just firing shit. I was yelling at myself, and the whole
You're fired.
Yeah, which I probably would have done to myself
They
about
sent
20 times.
instructions and pictures. How are you not figuring this out? It's a food puzzle.
Yes, and it's amazing what they do. They do exactly that, and they send really good ingredients. It's fresh. It's like, and it fits. For me, I don't have many dietary restrictions, but they.
Oh, I do.
But they have it all.
That's awesome.
And they have it all for you like this. No matter what your diet is, it caters towards
You
it.
have me at no sugar.
It's fantastic, and it gets delivered to. It has the meat so good. The other day, I grilled up a whole bunch of stuff on the grill. This organic chicken, and I made like these really clean burritos, like chicken burritos. Like it just tasted so incredible. I love it, and you can get it sent to your place. But this is the best part. All right, so go to greenchef.com/60thing and get this 60% off. 60% off you're going to get. That to me is such a great deal in general. And we said it the other day on the show. I reached out to the advertisers, that the agency who sent me sponsorship, and I said, I think that the copy's wrong. It says 60% off. I know it costs 60. They're like, no, it's 60% off. I was like, okay.
That's insane.
It's really, really good deal. So
especially with the markup in supermarkets right now.
That's exactly what my wife said to me. She's like, do we have a Green Chef order coming too? Because I don't want to go to the it's so much cheaper and better than the stuff that we have.
The way they separate the ingredients too, that's what I love. Because like if you go buy cilantro, I don't need a bushel of cilantro.
Yeah.
I don't need parsley for days, and it all goes bad. So they give you
it in bulk.
Yeah, I don't need bulk, But yeah, you can only get like a parsley, like in this big,
Like it's a garnish.
No, they give you enough for like the meal.
It's
You
perfect.
can pick family style, all that stuff.
awesome.
So anyway, Green Chef, make sure you check it out. We're so excited to have them on the show. And for you guys, if not only will you be helping yourself out, you help out the show tremendously. So there you go. All right, let's get into some of this drama because it's crazy. Here we go. All right, guys, this Variety report is pretty nuts. It's going to be a long one, so buckle in. Aquaman 2. It's flooded with drama. Jason Momoa was allegedly drunk on the set. Amber Heard's her scenes were cut. Elon Musk wrote a letter to WB, and so much more. And we even start with a really clever start from Variety. These waters are getting choppy.
I hate it when they do that.
Just write the article. On the same day in mid-September that Warner Brothers dropped the trailer for its $215 million Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, embarrassing documents from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial surfaced on Reddit, creating a new headache for the studio behind the film. Depp fans paid the court fees for the release of documents from Heard's therapist, Dr. Dawn Hughes. The raw notes scribbled on a legal pad were part of last year's high-profile trial in which Depp largely prevailed. They describe a hostile Aquaman set where allegedly intoxicated Jason Momoa dressed like Depp and pushed to have Heard booted from the role of Aquaman's superhero Mera. Jason said he wanted me fired, the note said. Jason drunk late on set, dressing like Johnny, has all the rings too. A rep for Momoa declined comment, but a DC spokesperson pushed back on Heard's characterization, saying Momoa conducted himself in a professional manner at all times on the set of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Others echoed that sentiment. Jason works his ass off, likes to have a beer once in a while, but doesn't show up drunk on set, says an insider who was on a London set in 2021, adding that the two stars got along and were seen joking together. And he isn't dressing like Johnny Depp. He's always dressed in that bohemian style. Heard declined comment, but a source close to the actress confirmed that the notes refer to the Aquaman 2 set and reflect a session from December 27, 2021. Another source close to the actress says her lawyers fought the release of the therapy notes, which has been subpoenaed by Depp's attorney during discovery. Momoa wasn't the only Aquaman principal to land in the crosshairs. The therapy session also painted a picture of Heard's feeling unsupported by the film's director, James Wan, and treated like a pariah because of her high-profile legal battle with Johnny Depp. He raised his voice at me. I can't even post about Aquaman. Made it like it was my fault. I said, I'm sorry, said Hughes' notes in reference to James Wan. Nobody could take selfies with me on set given blackout. Wan declined the comment. The DC person said, James is known for treating members of his cast and crew with the utmost respect and for fostering a positive, collaborative environment on set. The Aquaman films were no exception. And yet Heard was nearly fired. Sources on both sides tell Variety. Following Aquaman's release in 2018, the studio and Wan decided to drop the actress from the sequel due to her lack of chemistry with Momoa and send a letter to her attorney informing him of their decision. DC Films boss Walter Hamada testified in the trial about the issue of chemistry. These sources underscore the move to bounce Heard was unrelated to Depp and took place before he filed suit against the actress in 2019. Momoa was not involved in the decision-making, but another source pushed back on the lack of chemistry, noting that Heard did a chemistry test way before landing the role and beat out 2 other actresses with chemistry tests. Ultimately, the studio never pulled the trigger on firing Heard because her former boyfriend, Elon Musk, had one of his litigators send a scorched earth letter to Warner Brothers threatening to burn the house down if the actress wasn't back for the sequel. Says a source familiar with the behind-the-scenes battle, Warner Brothers caved and moved forward with Heard. Musk did not respond for a comment. The drama is being rehashed at a time when DC Entertainment toppers James Gunn and Peter Safran are poised to close the book on the previous regime's superhero slate with the release of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. We got more stuff to talk about in there.
Wow.
That's just...
Hold your breaths. We're going deep with this one. Have you heard the news about Aquaman? Get your James Guns out.
We're going to be drowning in all this news.
The news is...
Go ahead, Jen. What do you got?
Save me. No, honestly. So I would like to listen. I don't want to be that person that's like, I have a story every time that you guys bring something up.
Tell me.
No, I worked with Jason Momoa before.
Okay.
I worked with him doing press tour for, was it Conan?
Oh, you tell me. It's your
Conan.
story.
No, Conan for the movie Conan that he was in. I'm just making sure the movie was right.
That was 2011.
Yes. So I was working for Spike TV at the time, and I had to go bowling with Jason Momoa. I will attest that he dresses like this all the time.
Yeah.
That is his aesthetic
Every time
choice.
he's photo, he's been doing that. That's for years.
He has all of the rings, more rings than Tom Brady. He has all of the scarves. You know what I mean? Like it's
him.
Yeah, him, Chris Jericho. Like it's an aesthetic choice. You know what I mean? He's not dressing like Johnny Depp. Like they have long hair, long brunette hair. He's much bigger than Johnny Depp, first of all.
Oh, it's by like 4 times, right?
But he comes to set and is just ready to party at all times.
Yeah.
That's just his personality. It's like that Hawaiian, like
plays
like,
off in every role that he's in too. Yeah.
But that's just his vibe. You know what I mean? Like he's not a problematic person in that regard.
I don't think this article is going to hurt Momoa at all.
No,
not at all. Because as they said, there's only one report and one person saying that he was drunk on set, and it's Amber Heard. And nothing against Amber Heard. Well, I guess, but it's just like she's not exactly credible, super credible. And I'm not saying she didn't go through some stuff, which she probably definitely did.
But she really shit the bed on this one.
Yeah.
That was the best one. That was the best one. So yeah, I don't know. I can't believe her. I can't believe her on that. So when it comes to, I believe what they were saying. Jason Momoa comes, has a drink, and that's it. What I do believe is that she was almost fired. And I don't necessarily believe that it wasn't because it had something to do with the Depp trial also. They're probably like, oof, her chemistry wasn't the best with him. I don't know, because it's not a coincidence. So when you look at this trailer, there is one shot of Amber Heard.
I haven't seen the trailer in a while.
You can barely recognize it's her. She punches something underwater, and then you'll see her for the rest of the trailer.
Yeah.
I think she was definitely
That's
fired.
a marketing choice for sure.
Of course it was. And I think that it was also probably a marketing choice. Put her in a very brief scene, make it so recognizable that we're putting her in one shot, so they go, oh, okay, they're recognizing that. What can they do? But she's in the movie, but we're not highlighting.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. And I think she was almost canned for sure. I definitely think Elon Musk was throwing his weight around at that time for his girlfriend.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Of course he was. And they probably were scared out of their minds because of what he is arguably the most powerful person in the world. Arguably. And people, what about Trump? He got way more money than Trump. Mm-hmm. And he's got way more influence as for certain things that he does. So, and people are like, wait, you're crazy. I'm telling you.
I think they're just trying to get through this next movie. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just like, let's be done with it. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's see what the next chapter of DC looks like. I'm like, I don't know.
That's what it is. It's exactly what it is because this is... So Peter Safran,
but don't bury it. Make your money off of it.
They're trying to. Well, that's what they're trying to do with all these things because this is what happens. So Peter Safran, James Gunn get announced to basically run their shop. They have announcements of here's all these movies we're going to do. We have this whole plan that's going to start in 2025. However, before we got here, there's a lot of other movies that are still coming out. At the time, it was It was The Flash. It was Black Adam had just come out. So Black Adam comes out, barely breaks even, maybe loses money. Most people think it does. And so right then they're like, and that one, out of all these that I'm about to talk about, was the one that's probably the most successful. Because then you get the Shazam 2, that eats it. Bad. Then you get The Flash, that eats it.
But that, honestly, you want to talk about more problematic storylines behind the scenes. And everyone was aware of them. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm not gonna pretend that's why I was like not rushing out to see that one in the theater, you know?
But agreed. I think there's so many different things that play
There wasn't a
into
celeb cameo that could save that movie.
No.
In terms of PR.
You're right. As far as but even outside, like the regular casual viewer, right?
Yeah.
Didn't know about that drama. What they knew is that they didn't give a shit about superhero movies unless it was something that was really connected to, and the DCEU is so all over the place.
That's the thing is I love superhero movies.
Yeah.
But I have friends that are outside of our group of friends, you know, who all love film and love movies. And whenever I try to be like, hey, did you see Endgame? And they're like, how many movies did I have to watch before I could see that one?
Right.
And that if it's more than one, I've lost the argument. It's not going to happen.
Right.
They're like, nope, never happening. I will just not be a superhero person.
And that's exactly why I think it's tough. Because then you also had, what was the one? And then Blue Beetle comes out. Now, Blue Beetle,
that was unfortunate timing.
It was because of the strike and everything too. But it's a property of a movie that not a lot of people really knew. Have you seen the movie?
No.
So I keep saying this, but Xolo Maridueña, who's in Cobra Kai and he's the lead in it, is fantastic. And he's great.
And that's what I've heard.
Family dynamic, great. The problem for me is the superhero stuff. It's super generic. I've seen it a million times over. Aquaman 2 looks super generic. I like Jason Momoa a lot, but I can see him play that character in pretty much any other movie that he's done. He played the bad version of that in Fast X, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm them, you're not making any money right now in these movies. You're losing money, but you got to put it out. They say 215 million or 225 or whatever. I don't know if they're definitely not including marketing in that. And they're also not including a lot of the reshoots. They did 4 reshoots on that. Usually 2 is like the normal. 4. Wow. That movie's going to cost close to like $300 million easy. It's got to probably make about 500 to 600 to break even. It's going to be another bust. And especially with all this stuff coming out now too. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is a portion of the drama. So there's so much going on here, but we've talked about it on the show. We've thought that Aquaman was going to have some issues, but is this one of those things where you're like, yeah, of course that no shit. We knew that was a problem. It's just now coming to light. Or does this go, oh man, this movie's really going to be doomed?
I just feel so bad for DC fans because it's like they deserve better.
Yeah.
They deserve for their franchises to mean something and not every couple years be like, just kidding, none of that mattered.
That's right.
They deserve better. Yeah. They do. And I understand that bringing in James Gunn is probably, he's going to come in with his vision and going to want to start over and clean house. And look, he did a great job with Suicide Squad, in my opinion.
I love that movie.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But...
Did you watch Peacemaker?
Yeah.
Peacemaker's awesome.
Peacemaker's amazing.
It's awesome. So, yeah, but James Gunn, you're a sports... I'll keep you out of this.
You're here.
You're here. It's like having a team that has really good talent on it, but they just can't win. They can't get to the dance.
Listen, as a Rays fan, I completely understand the point you're trying to drive.
Right. So then, you get a coach that worked on another major championships. He's Guardians. He's won championships with Guardians. He's won. He put some of his characters in Endgame. He's won major battles, and now you're bringing this coach over to win a championship and get you a ring over in DC.
But he's going to want to do it with his people. That's the thing.
That's true. Yeah.
They almost, whenever you bring in a new coach, they almost always clean house. They very rarely keep the entire. Because listen, there's a reason they're bringing in a new coach. Things were not working.
Right, and that's exactly what
I think it's not as limited to directors and vision as it is chemistry of the players involved.
Agreed. And
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's when all this stuff happened. And that's kind of where we're going next with this story because it continues on. One of the major things that, speaking of Black Adam, they had announced that Henry Cavill's coming back. And that was how The Rock was promoting the entire movie, was that Henry Cavill's coming back. And they did this post-credit scene of Henry Cavill's coming back. And then Safran and Gunn come in, and they're like, just kidding. He's not coming back. We're recasting. We're going in another direction. And then there was, okay, well, if you're going to do this, then you got to get rid of Gal Gadot. You got to get rid of everybody else. And then there was, because the Flash had not come out yet, so they didn't want to say, well, yeah, Ezra's definitely gone. Because if they get rid of Ezra, why am I seeing the movie? Nobody saw the movie anyway. But still, it's like, but that's part one. If they say the same thing with Aquaman, why am I going to see the movie? All these different things. Why am I going to see Shazam if it doesn't mean anything anymore? So they didn't make that announcement, even though it looks like, as we're going to get into, that's exactly what happened, going off your point. It's kind of clearing house, and you need to.
What happened with the Flash being so good that the scandal wasn't going to hurt that? Like, I mean, that was the news about this was like, oh my God, it's just, I'm sorry, it's that good. And then here it comes out.
I think some of it was hyperbole. I think some of it was definitely, just hype. I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people did.
I enjoyed the movie. The CGI, there's some really bad CGI. The opening scene is enough for. There's an opening scene like that. Something that happens.
The babies.
Did you saw the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I fell asleep about 30 minutes.
Nice.
I get it, and it's like the beginning of it is the slog, and then once you get into the core of what it's really about, there is an emotional story in there, and the stuff with Michael Keaton is really good. I thought that when Ezra Miller actually really dives into playing Barry, the emotional core of it worked really well. But there's a lot of the CGI was laughable at times, really, really bad. But
like James Bond surfing on the side of the cliff bad.
Which one? From which one?
Oh, it was Pierce Brosnan. I can't remember which one.
Oh my God!
Was.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It was like Scorpion King, that type of thing. But
yeah. Worst date I've ever been on, but then just could not stop laughing. And the guy was like, "Want to make out?" I'm like, "I'm too busy laughing. I'm sorry."
at the movie itself, plus the bad date.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Was that a Florida State?
No, it was right before Florida State.
Right before Florida State.
I did 2 years at USF before I went to Florida State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. See, I'm learning new things about my friend. All right, we'll get into this James Gunn thing, and then we'll move on. But I want to talk about the DCEU and where it's going. The drama is being rehashed at a time when DC Entertainment toppers James Gunn and Peter Safran are poised to close the book on the previous regime's superhero slate with the December 20th release of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Since Warner Brothers chiefs Pam Abdy and Mike DeLuca joined the studio in June 2022, followed by Gunn and Safran's entrance 4 months later, the four have been saddled with the DC duds they inherited, including this year's The Flash and Blue Beetle. Still, the Aquaman sequel has promise, considering the character's first outing earned $1.15 billion worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing DC movie ever. But sources say the sequel has endured challenges outside of the Heard saga and was testing in the 60s before being recut in the summer of 2022. Despite the overhaul, the film continues to test in the 60s, prompting a new cut. The movie is like this echo of regime, says one insider. In the last remnant of the Snyderverse, no one really wants to take ownership of it. Reshoots took place up until this year's WGA strike in May. The on-set source disputes the idea that Aquaman 2 is troubled, noting that the film was on time, under budget, and needed only about weeks of reshoots. Like Flash and Blue Beetle, Aquaman can't shake its lame duck trappings, with the DC universe getting overhauled under new leadership, marking Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav's top priority. In fact, none of the stars cast by Zack Snyder's 2016's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and 2017's Justice League, including Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa, none will reprise their roles in the new DCU universe and character. Momoa may return, just not as Aquaman. Sources say the actor has engaged in talks to play Lobo.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, either in the 2025 reboot Superman Legacy, written and directed by Gunn, or in a standalone film. In a confusing twist, Viola Davis, who played Amanda Waller in both of the recent Suicide Squad movies, will remain as that character in the Gunn-Safran DC universe in next year's Max series Waller, and possibly in the new Superman tentpole. Another outlier is Gunn's Max series Peacemaker, which will be back for a second season with John Cena in the lead. Meanwhile, there's been some confusion on the series about who is the ultimate gatekeeper. Unlike the Marvel-Disney relationship, in which Marvel controls the creative process and Disney and Marvel Plus release the content, Max is creatively involved with the DC slate. Gunn and Safran don't enjoy the same autonomy as Marvel's Kevin Feige. A Max source says that the collaboration between the DC team and Max executives Sarah Aubrey and Casey Bloys has been seamless, including on the upcoming series, which was forced to shut down during the strikes. Regardless, some of the lot are convinced that another company, most likely Universal, will buy Warner Brothers within the next 2 years, making a recent DC subplots and upheavals feel quaint. All right, there's a lot again. There's two different things here. Starting with the recasting, basically what you said, the Amanda Waller of it all and Viola Davis. I get why you'd want to keep Viola Davis. It's Viola Davis.
Yeah.
But the question is it confusing? And at first glance, I go, to the hardcore fan, it could be. I was like, what's canon, what's not? But it's in the same way that, like, you know, J.K. Simmons was. Is it confusing that J.K. Simmons was J. Jonah Jameson in the new Spider-Man Marvel movies? You know, and so they could get away with it because the casual viewer isn't going to know. Probably didn't see most of the other movies anyway. So I get it. I still think it's a little confusing, but I get it. And then Peacemaker, what they said was, and they didn't mention this article, but apparently Peacemaker season 2 will be canon to the DCU, where the first season will not, but they will address it. It's confusing, but it's James Gunn, so he might do something funny to make it seem like,
That's honestly what I was thinking this whole time. Is I think the thing that's really hampered DC is there lacked a concise tone for all of their properties. You know what I mean? They're like, do we want them to be funny? Do we want them to be dark and serious, you know? And like, just like brooding, you know? And it's so funny. Weird example, but I was watching this documentary on the Haunted Mansion.
My daughter just watched that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We watch the same thing.
Yeah. She loves it. No,
I just watched it on edibles.
Yeah,
so it's a different experience.
Yeah.
But one of the things they were talking about during the making of the Haunted Mansion, the ride, not the movie, was that there was a conflict in terms of the tone that they wanted. And that's what kept messing up this ride, is everyone being like, we want it to be scary.
That was the one, that was the one in Paris, right?
No, it was the one.
Okay.
It was the original one here in California, and they were trying to figure out, like, that's what took so long for them to figure out what the tone was going to be. So what they ended up doing was the first half of the ride is kind of spooky, and then the second half of the ride, they get the goofy, funny thing, and it kind of sends you home in a feel-good mood. So it has that Disney twist at the end. But that's what I think James Gunn is going to be able to bring to these properties that Snyder wasn't able to, and that, you know, that the original crew wasn't able to. Is he's going to bring that lightheartedness and the fun that you enjoy sometimes in the Marvel movies. He's going to bring that to these properties.
I think that
because Joss Whedon didn't hit it. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not for that movie. That movie was a mess. But they've got to find some kind of tone. They've got the one thing that people don't realize as much as, because people do, and I think I understand why people will get a little nervous. I don't want Superman cracking jokes. I don't want that type of thing. But James Gunn's also
Superman. I can't have Superman telling jokes. I can't.
No, right?
It's just not in his voice.
It's not in his voice.
But Batman, 100%.
Yes.
Jimmy Olsen will probably tell jokes.
Batman's
and that's
kind
okay.
of a dick.
Yeah, but
I'm okay with it.
But it depends on how he's telling jokes. But Jimmy Olsen could tell jokes, and I'd be okay with it. You know, the question is, like, you know, how does the tone overall play with what he's doing? Because don't forget, James Gunn is a major comic book fan. He's a major comic book fan. So I just think that he and Safran unfairly have now, because like the casual fan does not know, they will not know that James Gunn and Safran have been brought in to just start Superman. Like, oh, well, DC just stinks in general, right? Because all the different things have come in. And as far as Aquaman making $1.1 billion, it was in a very different time when it made $1.1 billion. It made it during the time of the golden era of what superhero movies were doing. Like, it was right at the time, like, Endgame was coming out. I mean, Captain Marvel made $1 billion too. That movie, the new one, the Marvels, is not making $1 billion. This movie is not going to make $1 billion. This movie will be lucky if it hits 700, and I think that's a stretch. Do you think it's got a chance to make $1 billion?
I don't know. I truly don't.
What do you think?
I just had a flashback to when my mom took me to Haunted Mansion when I was 4, so I'm still stuck in that one. She goes, "It's just a house, honey." I'm like, "We got it." You sure? No, it looks haunted. It's just a house.
The walls are stretching.
No, she said, I got in that first room,
and
I go,
acid?
"You lied to me!" I was 4, just screaming at the top.
Listen, could have been Bloody Mary touching
Yeah.
the
I
cheek
know.
of an 8-year-old.
I was so happy. Like when Jen was telling that story, I was like a proud papa because the other day my daughter was telling me how she watched the whole thing. And when
That's cool.
I was like, "Yep, that's what my daughter told me. That's what my daughter told me." Because my daughter was terrified. The oldest was terrified. The youngest is going to be breaking legs in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
But the oldest was like scared of it. She didn't want to do it the first time. We just did it recently. She's like, screw that. But now she's kind of facing her fears, watch that thing. She's like, I want to go again. And she was telling me all the facts. It was the thing about Paris was that it's just pure scary.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't even
because they were like, people go to Paris to see the catacombs. Like they're not.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting how they tailored every single haunted mansion to where the location was.
Yeah.
You know.
It was
So it was interesting.
And that was what was wrong with the latest film, I think. I just went on I was out of town and we went to the film, just was the only thing playing. And it wasn't scary enough and it wasn't funny enough. And it was kind of like the ride. It was, you were like, what is this?
And it also fell into the, you can't talk about it, thing.
Right, because that was right as everything was going down.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, again, where we are at this point, and I guess we'll talk about that in just a second, but I don't know, because it's going to air on Thursday. I don't know where we are yet with the strike and whether or not we think it's going to be over or not. We'll talk about it in a second. But before we do, I do want to tell you about our other sponsor, Nutrafol. Here you go. Don't be embarrassed. Don't do it. Listen, did you know that 80% of men will experience hair thinning in their lifetime? It's normal, guys. But it doesn't have to be your fate. You can get ahead of thinning with Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements use physician-formulated, natural, science-backed ingredients. Their drug-free, patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their hair wealth wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair health through whole body wellness. It works. In a clinical study, 84% of men showed improvement in their hair after 6 months taking Nutrafol men's hair growth supplements. Everybody feels this way as you're getting older. You're like, oh man, am I the only one? Why is this happening to me? This and that. We're in an age now where you can get it helped. You can get it fixed. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men, but you have to enter that promo code Big Thing. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men. Nutrafol.com/men and enter that code Big Thing. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code Big Thing. All right, thank you to our friends over at Nutrafol. Once again, guys, go and check it out. If you're able to, you have the means to, you want to help yourself out, you want to support the show, that's how you do it. I always link the sponsors in both the comments as the first pinned comment, and I also put it in the description. So go ahead and check that out. When do you think the SAG strike's going to be done this week?
I don't know. I've heard mixed things.
Yeah.
I've been hearing mixed things for months. I hope it is. I really do. Because I had so many little projects that were getting ready to get just in the talks phase, but everything shuts down. You know, I'm very grateful that, comedy is my main source of income. But it's disheartening when you've been working on something for so long. And if it's a victim of just bad timing.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you been traveling a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have been, right?
Yeah.
So New York, obviously, tonight.
Yeah.
And then what's next?
Oh, God.
Have you been home?
Florida State.
I was going to say.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I am playing at Florida State, Miami.
Are you going to be performing during that weekend?
I'm not performing, but I will be performing.
Right.
I haven't been back to Florida State since 2017.
Okay.
So it's been a hot minute. I'm going to go back to a game. I want to see how, it always amazes me how that campus changes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. I haven't been in a long time.
So I'm going to go.
Okay.
And I actually might take Barney with me.
All right.
Yeah, because Barney's down for any experience that involves wearing Western wear.
Perfect. Oh, wait a minute. I just got to knock on the door.
No.
Yeah, I just got to knock on the door.
What?
Hold on. I think he's here.
What? Who?
Hey, Jen, what's going on, lady? How you doing?
What is this?
This is Big Balls McGillicuddy. I'm the best little damn chipmunk you ever seen, baby.
Oh, this is something.
It
I
is
did not
so
know. I
good.
did not know I signed up for this
Now,
today.
hey, you got my cousin on your hat. You know that?
I forgot I was wearing.
That's right. He's showing some ass, and I'm showing my nuts.
I did not know when I bought this hat, guys.
Yeah.
That there is a butt on the front of it.
Yeah.
So literally, I just thought this guy was cute, right? Your cousin, very adorable.
Appreciate that.
But when I got the hat, I realized that the brim of the hat is a butt.
Damn straight it is.
That's great. That's perfect.
You know what I like about it, too, is the fact that I hear you. You're talking in my language a little bit. When you talk, I can hear myself in your voice. Oh, yeah. Listen. I've been doing things, Jen, you don't even know. I've been following you on a Schmodan, looking to you, say, look at that lady. Oh, yeah, but me, I'm a motherfucker who does stuff backwards. What's that mean? No one knows. Shit, man. Someone shaved my back once, and I got sexy with it.
What are you talking about?
I did not know that I was going to get Me Too'd by a chipmunk.
Yeah,
today.
exactly.
Where is HR?
With your butt hat.
It's true. You can't cancel my little ass. You try to. What are you gonna do? You gonna throw me in a treehouse? I'll eat everybody's nuts and then I bust my nut. Oh shit! I'm fucking crazy. Sterger. You hear me? Knocked you out. Look at you. Mama said knock you out. Hell yeah! Don't stay down there too long.
He's crazy. I'm sorry, Jen. He's
cannot.
Crazy. He's gone. He comes in and he causes shit.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'm sorry
devil.
about that. I apologize.
Jeez.
Welcome back.
I miss the absurd things we used to do. I really do.
Yeah.
That show was so special.
Yeah. Well, listen, yesterday I actually did a poll on the on YouTube. It said, what villain would you want to rule the world with you if you're going to do it? And I put Darth Vader, Thanos, the Joker, and Finstock. Finstock beat Joker.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
He beat Joker. He was third.
I think Finstock had good ideas sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
He was in his prime during season 3 to 5.
I think some of the logic behind them was a little failed.
Sure. Who was your favorite interview? Who did you like to interview the most?
Oh God. Gucci was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
Gucci was always a lot of fun. Jay Washington and I also had pretty good chemistry. It was, but that was more like a Jimmy Fallon thing where we were just trying to break one another, and so that was also a good time. You were always a blast, Brad. You know, there were so many great memories with that.
Yeah, it was good ones. You always used to make Dan almost cry.
Yeah, we always had money on that.
Yeah. The entire library is actually finding its way back
Dan
to
Cries?
the main channel. Yeah, Dan Cries.
There's just the whole Dan Cries channel.
There should be. But if you guys want to check it out, if you haven't never seen the Schmodown before, if you just search Movie Trivia Schmodown, I'm putting all of the library and everything that we've done, like everything, behind the scenes footage, like there's stuff we did on like Twitch up there, but there's also all the matches, all the moments.
Makuga. How could I forget?
Yeah, Makuga was a good
How
one
could I
too.
forget?
Yeah.
I think it's because he wasn't around as much towards the end,
yeah.
but man, there was some magic in there with him.
Yeah, so I'll get myself in trouble here too. Do you have who are your favorite Schmodown competitors of all time to watch play?
To watch play, Rachel Cushing.
Yeah,
obviously. I think it was the thing that I loved watching about Rachel play was that she was so scared to death.
Yeah.
About being in front of camera. And I think because she went out there with just the purest of intentions and pure love of the game and love of movies, that people just really gravitated and they saw themselves in her. You know, and that's something I loved watching Rachel play. I loved watching Mara play. I loved watching Mike Kalinowski play with so much passion and the memes that came out of his passion.
Yeah, totally.
I still have pictures of Mike in my phone just like, and just making all these crazy faces because he was so in the game. Smets, obviously.
Oh, Smets,
you know, Smets was another one that I really loved watching the intensity that he played the game with. And it's not going to be popular. Chandra. I came around on that because for a long time I was like, someone punch this guy in the face.
I think that's why we made him a heel.
Yeah.
Just because of it. And he was absolutely one of my favorite performers. I think there's a difference as far as performers and who I think the ultimate package of Schmodown player ever to step through those doors, like the ultimate package. Meaning
I think I know who you're going to say.
Everything. Marisol. Marisol McKee was the ultimate Schmodown player of everything. Everybody that you mentioned.
Yep.
Incredible, right?
Yep.
Everything. Like, and everybody had different things, and obviously Roka. Roka was like without.
Yeah,
Roka,
that's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. Without Roka, you don't have the show really get to a place with characters and that stuff.
I think Rocha made everything feel bigger than it was.
He made people realize, oh, I can do that too. I understand what he's doing now because they didn't get it at first. But without Rocha, you don't have that. So it's a different thing. But as far as the package of, and I'm talking about when I say the ultimate package, I'm talking about because Rocha and I, and Rocha will tell you too, he and I have gone at it with each other behind the scenes, yelling at each other.
Oh, I know.
Marisol McKee is someone who knows what she wants. She knows what if she's going to ask for something. She is not afraid to do it. Like my favorite moment with her is when we went to when she played Chance in New York, and I didn't know how comfortable she was going to be on the mic at all. So I had Shannon was going to do her monologue for her. So she's like, "I need to talk to you, Marisol." So I was like, okay. She's like, "I want to do my own thing tonight," and I was like, Let's do it. And she's like, will you work on the thing with me? Because I've never cut a live promo in front of anybody. She just remember, this is someone we found in the audience.
I know.
Yeah.
And she annihilated it. She knew how to play to the audience. She knew how to do it. And she was just so good at it. She had respect for the game. She had the respect for the people that came before her. I mean, she was just and I'm not disparaging anyone else that like the Dan Merles, the John Rokas, the Clark Wolf, Rachel Cushing, Mara Kanapa, and Mike, so many Smets, many people. But there's just something about Marisol. I wish Marisol would have also debuted in that time period of like the season 3 to like season 6, where like when we were doing like 300,000-400,000 an episode.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that people would have been able to see her there.
There was something special, though. I've watched some of the older episodes, and there was something really special before you guys got professional looking.
Yeah. It's true.
When it was just some lunatics in like what is it, BuzzFeed? Or what was it? Not BuzzFeed.
Collider?
No, the smaller office that you guys had before that.
AfterBuzz.
AfterBuzz, yes.
Yeah.
One of the buzzes.
Yeah.
There was something special about what you guys were doing there with such limited space. And it was just like a couple of dudes in a closet, in costumes.
Playing trivia.
Exactly,
Yeah.
playing trivia, but like the absurdity of pageantry around it that you brought over from professional wrestling, that just, I watched those, and it was before, obviously, I joined the show. You guys had gotten your shit together by then. Thank God. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd have walked in and been like, I am not coming to this frat party.
I'll watch it on TV.
Exactly.
Right.
It's cute. You guys are cute.
But the reason I bring that up, too, is because we put PLD and I were going over the goals for Patreon, and one of the things we're going to do, and because I always tell myself I wouldn't do this, but it's also included in that 10,000. So this is another thing, Brett. You're gonna be nervous about this. At 10,000, also patrons, when we hit it, I will rent out a theater and I will put on a free for all.
Oh,
again. So I will do a movie trivia showdown free for all. I will bring whoever wants to be in it. I'll definitely have you back to do interviews.
Oh my God, yeah.
And we'll rent out a theater. We'll do the whole thing, and we'll do a big event, and we'll put it on and we can, at 10,000 patrons, we can put it on anywhere. If we do it in New York, or we do it here, we can do it anywhere. So that's another incentive as well too. So it'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably one of the greatest interests of all time was me.
At the free for all was amazing. It was one of my favorite.
I spent the entire day what's that called? The guy that leads a cameraman
He's an assistant camera.
Yeah, just like pulling Kristian down the aisle and making sure he doesn't run into people. Rubikava. And then like playing the music and looking around as I walked him down the aisle. That was so fun.
And at the time you were on Collider Live, so we played the Collider Live music as like a surprise entry. It's a really good performance. Yeah.
Snyder's free for all entrance was pretty great. Anything Andrew Guy ever did.
Yeah. There's, so many.
Andrew Guy, one of those people where you're like, didn't always get the trivia, but man, the performance.
I would put him and Rocha as probably, and Mike up there too, as far as performers go. And Chandru. There's so many great performers up there that really came through those doors. But anyway, all right, let's end with this one. Deadpool 3 is said to be a top priority for Marvel Studios as they aim to meet planned 2024 May release date. The WGA strike recently concluded, and we're hoping that the SAG members will also get a fair deal in the next coming days. Again, this is from Comic Book Movie. Negotiations are ongoing, and providing they go well, actors could be ready to return to work as soon as next week. When that happens, there will be a huge rush to resume production on countless TV shows and movies, including Marvel Studios' Deadpool 3. There have been rumblings that the threequel won't meet its planned 2024 May release date. A new report from The Wrap contradicts that. They said when the strike ends that it's going to be a major priority because it's expected to be an Avengers-sized level event, and we're not shocked. Marvel Studios and Disney would probably want to keep that May spot.
All right. So how much do you know about this, Jen? The Deadpool in general?
I mean, I know the movies.
No, the
very
one that's
well.
coming out, the third one that's coming out.
Not as much.
So this one to me is exactly what they're saying. It's got this full-on Avengers type feel to it because, like, everybody who's ever been in any X-Men movie ever is supposed to be in it. They have all these they're saying like Taylor Swift is going to be in it. They're saying like,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, all these different things are going to happen inside of this movie that is going to be just next level. So it would make sense that they would need this in May. I think it hits May, and I don't know. I think it just depends on when they end the strike.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
I think it's if you don't live in Los Angeles, like the strike, you can forget it's happening.
Yep.
But if you live here, especially if you live near the studios, you have to drive by the studios. Like, this is impacting our entire.
It has been, yeah.
And there's people that don't even get talked about, like all of the makeup people and all of the people that are not on set making their money, the crews that aren't being fairly compensated either. Like, this trickles down way bigger than that. But yeah, it's shutting our industry down.
It is. Well, I think that it's going to happen in May also. I think that it's going to be a priority. Just, again, if the strike ends by the end of this week, which I think it will.
I'm still going with Friday.
Yeah, I think I think this is the time, though, that we need art and we need movies and we need film more than ever, just because there's so much going on in the world that, like, art is such a welcome distraction and it's just a chance to, like, get your mind off things for a hot minute.
All right, so before we leave, I gotta get into this because it was December of last year or whenever it was, something along those lines, maybe November. Tickets get on sale for Taylor Swift. And I got so excited. I am still in debt for getting my oldest and my wife tickets for the tour. I spent a lot of money on them, and they had nosebleed seats. Like, the kind of money that I'm still paying for on my cards. And then I got a chance to see Instagram photos from Shannon Barney and Jenn Sterger, and they are essentially sitting on Taylor Swift's lap.
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen?
I thought they were in the band. I thought they were backup singers.
Yeah.
So that was interesting because I got offered those tickets like the day before.
How did that happen? From who? Taylor Swift?
I had a woman that I work with and I help write comedy with be like, hey, I have this extra pair of Taylor Swift tickets.
Oh, my God.
Would you want to go? And I saw how much nosebleeds were going for.
Right.
And I had just talked to Shannon at the gym the other day. And I was like, would you ever?
Right.
And she was like, no, absolutely not. Because we heard how much they were going for. Nosebleeds were like well over $1,000. And I got offered these tickets and I was like, how much are they? And she goes, I'm just going to charge you face value for them. And I go, where are they?
Right.
And she goes, I go, what's face value? And they go, $1,000. And I go, okay. Each? And I go, yeah.
Oof.
And I was like, okay. And I go, where are they?
Yeah.
And when she was like, row 6.
Jesus.
And I was like, what's your Venmo? I hit up Shannon and I go, hypothetically, if I do this, would you want to go? And she was like, is this a prank?
Right, I know.
Man.
But it was a big investment. I don't feel good about it as a financially responsible adult that I did it. But honestly, I treated it kind of like my divorce present to myself.
Good for you.
Because I was like, this is the year of my life that I decide to live for me and I decide to be unapologetically who I am. And at the end of the day, I think you'd be hard pressed to find women out there that don't relate to Taylor Swift's music.
Yeah.
Even if you don't necessarily like her as an artist or like her music, the things that she sings about are all things that we've been through. And like before I came to Schmodown, before I did any of those things, I used to have a blog and I used to talk about all of the crazy stuff that happened to me when I dated. And people really liked the blog because it was just me being vulnerable and me being honest and being like, yeah, dating sucks. Even when you are like considered like an attractive person by like societal
All men
standards.
in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know where you were. Everybody who's ever breathed air.
No, but
And I got hey, I'm sure it is tough. I'm not joking in that regard.
listen, there's a reason I don't go on. There's a reason I don't go on stage and go, man, dating's hard.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I actually say dating is dating is not that hard if you don't have standards.
Right.
Dating is very difficult if you have standards. And but anyways, Taylor just felt like being 13 again.
That's awesome.
great.
Yeah.
And it was probably the best concert I've ever been to, and it was worth every penny.
that.
And Barney and I got all dressed up in our eras type, our grown up eras type stuff. And we both left that concert like being like, that was a religious experience.
That's really cool. I'm glad. Yeah, my daughter like is a total Swiftie, right? Just loves her. Like, and so that was the big thing. And then my dad actually bought us Ed Sheeran tickets with much better seats, much better seats. And that I didn't know. I mean, I know some of his songs, but like he's just a great performer.
Oh
yeah,
He's a great performer, and he beat Taylor Swift on that day. 81,000 he had in that. And she had like 3 or 4 days back to back. He had one day he broke the single day SoFi record, which was crazy.
That's nuts.
Well, I've got one for you if you're looking for some ugly crying. My wife just introduced me to Ethel Cain.
Sad.
Jesus, it's the most haunting, heart-wrenching. If you just need to get some crying out, check it out. Ethel Cain.
Music?
Yeah. It's
you could just go to therapy.
No. I do my therapy in music. It's a lot cheaper.
So many men I know do. So many men I know do that.
Closed in a garage.
Like,
by
I'm
himself.
just crying for no reason. I'm like, go to therapy.
I have lots of reasons.
Yeah. I'll be crying when I go to the Corey Felman concert.
Oh, yeah, that one's gonna.
So speaking of which, once again, guys, as we wrap this up, a reminder that now at that 10,000 when we get there, Brett as the Flirt and Flouse, Jenn Sterger as Jessica, and
I can't believe I agreed to this.
That'd be amazing.
How did I came here to catch up with friends and I got roped into this shenanigans.
Because I'm a bully. I'm a bully.
No, you know what it is? Kristian Harloff is hands down the best salesman I have ever met.
That's nice.
Like your ability to talk people into shit that and let them think it's their idea. Like I was just like, oh my God, this sounds like a fun thing. And then I'm like, what did I just agree to? Like before I even know what's happening, I was like, oh shit.
I didn't say anything about the outfits though.
You didn't. No, but I'm like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm going
commit.
full.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going full outfit, 100%.
Yeah, and that'll be amazing. And then we'll do the free for all, which will be awesome too. Oh, the other one I forgot
I'm just saying, I need a budget. I need a budget for this outfit.
Of course, that'll
and
be part of it.
this is directed at fans. I need a budget for this outfit. Yes, it's probably going to be the size of dental floss, but I still, you'd be shocked at the inflation, guys. It's terrible.
It's going to be interesting.
It's fancy food.
Yeah.
It's fancy food is very small portions. You can't.
Yeah. But we also the other one I forget what tier we put it as. But for me, I'm gonna actually. I've never my hair has always been my color. But I said that I will do. I think it was it's either 12 or 1500. I can't remember. It's in there. The full on Ryan Gosling blonde hair. With the tan,
I've never seen.
I would pay money to see you have a spray tan.
That's the
but
the
like,
picture.
yeah.
It's on. That's.
But
that's
like with full body contouring, I think we should give him the abs and stuff like that.
Well, that I don't know if God's going to help you with, but I think that
that's a big one because I've never in the years I've known you, I've never seen you deviate from a style of like dress.
It's always been this. That's why again. So I wanted to make sure because the guy that wrote the thing was also he. What he didn't know is that I also had plans to do stuff for myself as well too, and I want to make sure that each and every person has something to do. And I was like, my wife is not thrilled with the idea that I was going to do that. She's like, no, and I was like, well, I'll have you do it. She's like, no. And I was like, if we hit it,
she's like, this sounds like work, and also I have to live with you.
Yeah, right. So the blonde hair, and then that'll be really interesting. But I don't think it's going to happen yet. We'll see. Anyway, if you want to go, you go to patreon.com/The Big Thing Show, and that's how you sign up. But Jenn Sterger, so nice to see you here.
So good to see you both.
You got to come back and do it again.
I'd love to. This was a blast.
Yeah,
and I'm not, it's like I'm working right now.
Oh, good. So you are working tonight, Friday?
I'm working tonight.
Tell them again.
I'm working tonight. I will be at the New York Comedy Club with Mark Ellis, Baby Carrots. It's going to be an absolute blast. Honestly, I think we put on some of the best. It's the whole gang, It's me, Mark, Kid Knapsack, it's the whole gang back together except for you because you're too expensive.
I'll actually be in New York. I just won't be able to get. Mark asked me to do a spot. I just can't get there.
I'm so big time.
No, it's called being old. All right, Brett. where can they find you? What's the channel? Let's see if we can get it right.
Let's get it right. Above Board TV on the YouTubes. Check it out. I think the latest one I was in was a playoff of the game Clue. Okay. But yeah, we're having fun over there, and I got some other things dropping from the Gen Con, a big gaming convention. So
there you go. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us here today. Make sure you hit that button if you haven't done it already. Please go ahead. We're almost there, guys. We're almost at 100,000, but we need you guys to hit that button. So do that. Hit the button. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. We'll see you on the flip side.